Hi, it's Jane Mason here. How are you today? I am talking to you from my Mexican kitchen today. And for those of you who are watching, you may know that I have a brilliant new book coming out in January. And it's a book on Mexican vegetarian cooking that will be published initially in English. Now, it's part of an amazing series called The World Vegetarian by Absolute, which is an imprint of Bloomsbury. And this Mexican vegetarian book is just fantastic. I mean, I know I wrote it, but it really is great. It has tons of recipes, classic Mexican recipes that are made into vegetarian options, but it also has loads of kind of new things or kind of fusion-y things, but it's very traditional. It's authentic in that it uses lots of Mexican ingredients and it puts them together in both traditional and non-traditional ways. So there are recipes for chicken wings that are not chicken, but they're cauliflower, for example. And there are recipes for chiles en nogada, which is a classic Mexican dish, but this is a vegetarian version. And there are tacos al pastor, which is another classic Mexican dish, but these are made with mushrooms instead of pork. So it's full of salsas, it's full of seeds and nuts and chocolate and mole and everything else that you would want. Tacos, quesadillas, soups, loads of cool stuff. Now, one of the things that's not in there because we didn't have room are the kinds of things that we drink when we are here having lunch. Now, Mexico has a lot of what we call waters. And if you go to a restaurant, you could say to them, what are your waters? And they don't mean like still or sparkling. What they mean are things like horchata or agua de Jamaica, or you could have agua de guayaba or agua de piña, which could just be the fruit that's put in a blender with lots of water. But I wanted to show you what I'm doing today is I'm making the agua de Jamaica. Now, Jamaica, what's Jamaica? It looks like this. It looks like Jamaica. I'm gonna turn that screen around. There we go. Flor de Jamaica. Flower of Jamaica. Weird, huh? Actually, what it is hibiscus flowers. And we buy them in huge bundles. You can get them organic, you can get them non-organic, you can get them expensive, you can get them less expensive. And what we do with them is we infuse them into a tea, and then we drain it, and we sweeten that water. Now, what I do, let me just show you first. Here, oh, there's my coffee. There are my beans. Here are the little like flowers, the hibiscus flowers. Okay, that's what they look like. And over here you see that they are, okay, so I've just kind of popped boiling water over them. And I'm gonna now just let them steep. Now what I like to do, because I think it gives it even nicer flavor, is to pop in either a cinnamon stick or a couple of star anise. I'm just gonna turn that off now. All that needs to do now is steep like tea. So I like to put in a cinnamon stick, or I like to put in a couple of star anise because I think it gives it a really great flavor. Now, the other thing, when you go to a restaurant, I'm just gonna turn you around. When you go to a restaurant, or even if you kind of buy the syrup, it's like a squash, right, of agua de Jamaica. It's super, super, super sweet, like concentrated squash is really sweet. When you go to a restaurant and you ask for it, it's often very, very sweet. So I actually like to do this when I'm making my own agua de Jamaica. Is here in this saucepan, it's over low heat, okay? I am just making a very simple sugar syrup. This is, equal volume. It's a cup of sugar, a mug, right, of sugar and a mug of water. And I'm gonna melt that. Just gonna give this a stir. And once it's melted, I can actually pop it in a jar. You can make it in big amounts and stick it in the fridge, because then label it sugar syrup. So you always have a sugar syrup when you need it. And what I'm gonna do when this is cooled down is I'm gonna drain it off. Obviously, I'm gonna keep the liquid and I'm gonna keep the petals. I'll explain that in a second. And then I will just add enough sugar syrup to taste. Jamaica is naturally super sour. So without sugar, it's not for everyone. And I actually like it with a little bit of sugar, which is why I like to make my own sugar syrup. And the reason I make the sugar syrup is because obviously it's really hard to dissolve sugar in cold liquid. Okay, so, and also when I have the sugar syrup, I can use it for any of the aguas that I need to do when they're warm, and use it for anything else that I happen to need it for. So there is my flor de Jamaica, and they are steeping in their little pot with a couple of star anise, could be cinnamon. There is my sugar syrup, which is melting. When it's melted, again, I'll just let it cool down. I'll strain these off, and I'll use the liquid, and I'll add just as much sugar syrup as I want to make it as sweet as I like it, which is not very sweet. Now, why do we keep the petals? We keep the petals because they actually have quite a bit of residual flavor. And you can cut them up into small pieces, you can saute them in a bit of onion, you can mix them with, and you can use them in quesadillas, for example. So you can make a quesadilla, you can put cheese or not, and you can put the mixture of onion and maybe a bit of epazote and the leftover flor de Jamaica. You can use that in a quesadilla, you can use it in a taco, you can even make soup out of them. So what's left in them once they've steeped? Well, not a lot. Fiber. Okay, fiber is what's left. So there's a lot of vitamin C in the actual liquid that comes out of the flour. And what's left is fiber and some flavor. Okay, fiber and flavor, not too bad. So there you go. There's my little tiny live show today from my Mexican kitchen. What we've been doing today is making agua de Jamaica and telling you a bit about what to do with the leftover Jamaica. So I hope it's something that you do. Jamaica is very easy to find in Mexico. It's very easy to find in Latin American groceries. And no doubt you can get it on a, delivery service whose name shall remain not said. Okay, everyone have a great day, and I will talk to you later.